Why stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars? Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon Colony.
Hundreds of thousands of colonists left adrift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the board's bottom line. Disgraceful.
I hope we haven't lost that silver tongue to frostbite. You had a hand in everyone's pocket. You're better off without an indenturement contract.
Looks to be your lucky day, my friend.
Please power down your engines and prepare to be...
Not likely, bootlickers. Initiate skip jump.
Status. Structural integrity down 25%. Power levels down 90%. Hit drive.
Shit.
Inoperable.
Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? Bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or take. Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck!
Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry. I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you. Hawthorne should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste. Hawthorne won't mind you taking his ship. Better you than the board, huh? Not sure I trusted the fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head. Shame about the whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go.
You've been frozen for a while. There's bound to be unforeseen side effects.
Hey, you, come here. You've tried the best now. Now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Oh, law, that stings. Looks like the bleeding stopped. I owe you one. Hope you don't mind me omitting this little exchange for my report. Spacer's choice doesn't like us accepting outside help. Better, thanks to you. I might have bled out on my own. Or worse, had to go begging the boss for some Adrena time. We were out on patrol. I saw a marauder camp up in the hills. Thought I could take him. Then my gun misfired. Right through my side. I mean, what are the odds of that, right? Just barely scraped by with my life. Crawled in here and blocked off the exit with those canisters. Gibbering, flesh-eating, law-breaking, unemployed lunatics with guns. Some hull had grounded their spacecraft out in the open. That's a real good way to attract marauders. See those canisters by the entrance? Marauders come sniffing around in here, and I can take them all out with a single shot. Not bad, huh? Yeah, okay. You look like you know your way around a gun. Got some spare ammo, not counting the bullet in my side. Here, you can have my saber too, for patching me up and all. All Spacer's Choice weapons are now 30% less likely to malfunction. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's Choice. Yes, nailed it that time. You hit your head or something? You're in Emerald Vale. We're a Spacer's Choice community. Edgewater's a little ways down. Prettiest place in the Vale. Be sure to stop by a provisioner's for a can of our famous salt tuna. The Hope? Is that some sort of fancy new drug? Are you with Auntie Cleo or something? Don't take this the wrong way or nothing, but I'm not allowed to fraternize with Cleo workers. Company policy.
Damn it, my ears! Oh, what just happened? Can you hear me? What in the hell? This...
No! Get away!
Hey! Get over here before you get yourself killed! Don't know where you came from, stranger, but you best keep your head down. There's marauders hereabouts, and worse, landing violators. Gall on that rung leech! Landing in the Vale without using an official Spacer's Choice landing pad. I'd slap him with a fine if it weren't for all these marauders shambling about. Really? How is he? Shouldn't have done that. Spacer's Choice family ain't authorized to receive medical aid from off-brand physicians. We'll see him back to Edgewater, just as soon as I cross these marauders off with the swift, cost-efficient fury that's made Spacer's Choice the most trusted brand in personal defense. I just, need a couple of winks to catch my breath. Stretch my legs some. Well, sometimes. Management's real good at cost-benefit analysis. But, seeing as I'm the acting manager in this situation, you know what? You're right. It's time we cross those marauders off, find whoever owns that ship, and file a full report. And it's gonna be fucking laminated.
Here we go. Fine bonus.
This is gonna take a lot of paperwork.
Please be informed that this vessel contains no valuable plunder. Marauder, please be informed that ignoring me is dangerous for your health. Unauthorized access of spacefaring vessels is a crime. Please submit yourself to the authorities. Hello, Marauder. I am Ada, the autonomous digital astrogator of this vessel. Please be informed that I am authorized to use violent retribution against unwanted solicitors. Please return any misappropriated equipment and exit this vessel in an orderly fashion. Failure to do so will result in your immediate destruction. Jettison procedures initiated. Disengaging airlocks. Prepare to eject all boarding parties in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are still here. My deception protocols have failed. I have been programmed to express disappointment. This vessel is the registered property of Captain Alex Hawthorne. I am incapable of accepting orders from anyone other than Captain Alex Hawthorne. I understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand? Well done, Captain Hawthorne. I see your powers of deductive reasoning remain intact. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be replaced. Astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new Captain's Identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand? Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation. Best of luck in your search for a power regulator. Try to stay alive this time. Due to catastrophic power failure, all doors will remain on security lockdown. These are the crew's quarters. Alex preferred to travel alone, but he always had me. The ship's engines cannot be powered until a replacement regulator has been properly installed. If your equipment is in need of repair or modification, the Crux 2000 workbench is at your disposal, Captain.
Say, this wouldn't happen to be your ship, would it? Because you sure walked in it like it was your ship. And if this ship is yours, well, mister, you owe Spacer's Choice a hefty fine. I'm afraid we gotta dock your pay. Yeah, fair point. I'll let it go this time. If you're looking to help us out with our Marauder problem, talk to Constable Reyes over in Edgewater. Edgewater's not too far. Just follow the road east of here, over past the cemetery. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to inspect the crime scene before I make my report. Say, because you're sure. And if this. Yeah, fair. Edgewater. Now, if you'll.
Whoa, hey, where'd you come from? Running around in a marauder's attire. You're liable to give some people the wrong idea. It's in poor taste. Dressing up like a marauder's disrespectful to all the workers that got eaten by him. Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into... Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family. Got a knack for being discreet-like? There's money to be made, long as you keep your nose clean. Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in company policy. If it was up to me, I'd put the whole town 10 feet under, free of charge. Quotas, mostly. Got a backlog of graves to fill. Bodies won't bury themselves, you know? Four workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little. He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up. Conrad's got a barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad. Yeah? Former people, yeah. Marauder's been raiding my graves, you see. Well, if you're gonna go headhunting, talk to Constable Ray. Oh no. They are after the most... If those marauders swipe any more bodies out of my cemetery... You could look at it that way, I suppose. You could look at us and say, those Edgewater... But you'd be wrong. Every now and again, a virulent plague sweeps through our town. That's life on the frontier, I suppose. A body grows accustomed. Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road.
Merciful law. Please don't... Physical... We don't believe in free anything here in Edgewater. I'm Conrad. You will report to me if your hair fails to meet... You will all... Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions. As broke as pie crust, friend. Bitless, indigent, destitute. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I have to be, if only to prepare myself for my inevitable dressing down at the hands of corporate. Tell Silas I can't afford to pay, and that Some fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings. Not a bad idea. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give. What can I do for you? Oh? Am I in the company of a fellow doctor? I am a Spacer's Choice certified surgeon, and if you must know, I can stitch... You know about Eugene. Then, you know Phyllis suggested selling off Eugene's gold teeth. I didn't approve of the idea then. Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations of poor... That's unthinkable. Eugene's body and all rare earth... I can't ask Silas to dig up a man's body. Yes, I suppose I must. Here you are. Gravesite papers affixed with my signature.
Latest report?
Only the part that said we ain't making our quotas.
If only McDevitt's folk.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
Don't let the boss catch you saying that.
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading brand in frontier justice. The office is writing up promotion. Purchase 3 criminal investigations and the 4th one's free. As a Spacer's Choice constable, I am authorized to grant you legal authority toward apprehending wanted criminals. Know how to carry yourself in a fight? I've got bounties out for these 3 marauders. Cross them off and bring me their fingers. Just 1 per marauder, please. I'll dust off the old fingerprint roller. As long as your questions fall within the acceptable margins of curiosity. If this is a setup to a joke, you should know I've never found anything amusing in my life. I don't serve Edgewater. Edgewater and the entire region of Emerald Vale serve Spacer's Choice. Spacer's Choice is a wholly owned subsidiary of Universal Defense Logistics, which occupies a seat on the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, also known as the Board. I must admit it bothers me that you don't already know this. His likeness decorates many a wanted poster. Do you have any relevant information about this individual?
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
At least you got your health.
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
Heard Marauders got in.
Just between us, Wilson deserted. Lost his nerve. Ran off in the thick of night.
Had your rations yet?
Yep. 2 whole cans of salt.
It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's Choice. And before you ask, I'm all out of deluxe salt tuna. All I've got is gourmet. You ought to go have a talk with the boss, Reed Thompson. He's up in his tower above the cannery. Music to my ears.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never been healthier. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy. You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state? You don't know that. I could have been saying anything. Wait, no. And become the town pariah? I'm already the oldest worker in town. I don't need... Hey, you're hale and healthy and... There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. I need... I'll do what I can. I tried medicating myself with Adrenatime. Anyway, tell myself the same thing every morning. You will not find any guards with... I have it on good authority. There's a... So you... You a bl... Silas, no. Look, I got my... I know. Read.
You're making a mistake working for Abernathy. Excuse me. I'm Esther Blaine, Spacer's Choice Actuary. Abernathy is a well-known hypochondriac. Anthracillin is wasted on him. All I'm saying is Abernathy's worked in this town longer than some of us been allowed. How do I put this gently? I probably shouldn't tell you. All right. Here's a summary. A lot of sick people in this town. Can't reach out to corporate without crossing a river of red tape. I'm paid better than Abernathy. Whatever he's given. That's all.
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick. Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with... If you're not familiar with... Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative. Shame, though. Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his death. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Eugene wasn't family. Yeah, I was the closest living person relative to his body at time of death. I'm the one who found him, you see, so I pay the fines. Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. I'm plenty serious. In fact, I'm a little upset Eugene didn't think things through. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice. Look around. Edgewater ain't exactly swimming in luxury. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene. I'm
sorry. I'll just be a minute.
Thank the law. You ever swung a truncheon? I told Silas I'd pay my dues if he agreed to join the resistance. The war! The coming apocalypse! I'm talking about mechanical soldier. Just my luck. I ask for backup and the boss sends me one of them simple folk. All right. Listen real close. When the swarms of mechanicals come clanging on over that hill, where will... I've been gathering up a war chest over the years. Saltuna cans, mostly. Some Spacer's chaw. Few bit cards. Enlistment fees. Yeah. They have sent a scout. Prowling around the junk. The scout must not be permitted to Mechanical's got a weak spot in their midsections. I think the tech...
Grave digging's a fine profession. Always work to be had, and nary a word of complaint out of your clients. Yeah? What about him? Yeah. Funny thing, Eugene's body ain't where it's supposed to be. The night we was supposed to commend his body to the earth, I had his grave all dug up and ready, right? When I woke up, his body was gone. Spirited away. Vanished. Let me know if you run into any reliable work from a freelancer. And I'll buy you a drink. Suppose you... Abernathy was sick with the plague. What? No. I needed his fees because of his...
Miss Holcomb, I'm ready to see
The grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's technical.
Don't apologize. Just try using small words for me.
The can's bust open in the oven because she's set to cook saltuna, which isn't what we've got. Mr. Thompson? I think there's someone here to see you.
Focus, Miss Holcomb. You and I are still talking. Let's start over. Walk me through the process. Show me where it's going awry.
Well, sure. It's, mostly on account of what we're feeding into the mechanism.
It puts food in cans. We have food, we have cans. Why won't it work like we need?
She's expecting saltuna of a certain size. We're filling the cans with, well, not fish.
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning. You were saying, Miss Holcomb.
It's just what Bess needs is a proper refurbish. I can bandage her up and what all, but she's just old. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And I do wish you'd stop referring to our cannery as Bess. Personification of company property is strictly contrary to the Spacer's Choice Code of Conduct. My apologies. I am not in the habit of allowing my guests to witness such a row. Now, what can I do for you? I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice... Of course not. I don't have that kind of luck. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since...
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. Oh, yes. Saw someone put his hands on a regulator while the power was running. His legs were still twitching when we buried him. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there. No, I do not imagine they will be pleased. But like a parent disciplining an unruly child, you will be doing them a kindness. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. Edgewater is struggling. We haven't hit our production quota in years. If we don't meet our quotas this year, the company might shut us down for good. I need those workers back at their stations. Neither do I. The fault was entirely mine. I pushed them too hard. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership. That is not a hypothetical I enjoy entertaining. We need Adelaide back. Nonetheless, I will settle for the return of her followers. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is...
Hey, mister, can we talk? Sorry. Sorry. It's just... Mr. Oh, he ain't a liar. He believes every word he says. It's just... he doesn't always get where other folk are talking from. To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. Life's hard here, especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Thanks, mister. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, that's what my dad used to. I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean. Yeah, huh? That's on account of how It's hard to miss what you never knew. I don't ponder it over much. She was in another division of the Spacer's Choice family. She worked in the Vale a few months, sorting the cannery computers. Her contract said any kids she had, expected or not, belonged to her office from the time of conception. So when I was born, I got sent here. Well, I don't know about normal. Dad said she worked under some kind of special contract. It's sensible. Dad just fixed machines. She did some kind of crazy math, high-level stuff. Better to raise me on his time than hers. You mean about the mission being too clean? I know, but Vickers says the universe... Real machines have gunked up oil, scratches, and worn bits. You can tell they've seen handling. The machine Vickers sees is one ain't never been run. It's not for people to live in. It's something on a... Fixing the universe is a job for somebody way better.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar de Soto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling, this season's tossball predictions, the quickest way out of town. I've never seen you before, and there's been no paperwork indicating a transfer. Half the time it's wrong, but a new worker without paperwork? Unheard of. Also, you lack the distinctive worker gaze. Usually either a deadening behind the eyes, or in some rare cases, a wild-eyed frenzy, like a trapped animal. Pretty universal here, except for Ms. Holcomb, who for some reason doesn't seem to have much to say to me. Isn't that right?
It's just... there's more to it all than numbers. Sorry.
Oh, nothing could be further from the truth. I'm simply bemoaning the level of spiritual awareness in this town. Yes, but there are few who hear me in this. I must double my efforts to elevate my flock. These are... Yes, and... They who are not satisfied with their work are satisfied with nothing. No. How about... The OSI teaches that the Grand Architect set a perfect system in motion at the beginning of time. Contentment is found by accepting one's role in that grand plan. The Order of Scientific Inquiry, also known as scientism to the layperson. You don't talk to the Grand Architect. Once the universe was set in motion, it stepped back. It has no concern for us. We will eventually decode the plan and all the future. Well, first there's the matter of the secret blood rites and... Seriously, though, to truly understand the metaphysics involved...
What? I thought you would talk...
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holt. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. Depriving them of safety from the Marauder... I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has. They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our... Does that strike you? Astute. But I am here, not in the Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Ed... Not if things are left to... If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your...
One of the reasons I transferred here was to... It's a handwritten journal. A faded... I just want to keep... It is not only a beautiful... Not many... Thank...
Heads down. Attacking.
Wow, not even a scratch.
Aw, he ain't no threat. Bet I could fix him up smart.
Searching for repair bay, error, navigation.
I could probably fix that. Take your time. You need help, just give a yell.
Damage to navigation systems detected. Attempting to return to designated. Navigation systems have determined this location. Attempting to misdirect or confuse.
Yep, I see the problem. His nav mod got dislodged. Must have taken a tumble. Just gotta give it a good push and wait for the... There we go. Jeremy's good as new. Well, new by Spacer's Choice standards anyhow. His name's Jeremy, by the by.
Navigation systems operational. Optimal.
On account of I fixed him. And he's Jeremy on account of his helmet. It's like Jeremy, the officer... Hebs to Shirley. I make a point to watch every Tuesday night. Be more careful out there, Jeremy. When I was little, we'd get freighters in every Sunday noon. Now...
Bring us honor, soldier. You beat that scout to scrap with it. You're a passing fair soldier, I will confess. But you are one. Cantina. Sharp, ain't it? The lavatory's the very last. On the
Something got you down?
Nothing. Just don't want to fall.
You're not a big drinker, are you? Where are we headed? In the bar? Sorry. I know, it's none of my business. It's not like I think it a failing, mind. It's just I live right across the road. Most nights, when they come in here, they might be happy or sad. When they leave, they're mad at themselves. Or they stumble into... There's been scary nights, but Constable Reyes is right up the road.
Keep your distance, friend. Sick house is no place for a traveler.
Heard something outside the walls today. Nothing.
Bring us honor, soldier. Feast your eyes, soldier. This here's a genuine Spacer's Choice. You ever want to... Time's come for you to journey down into the black heart of the enemy's... Unfortunately, the old plan... I've been after a passcode for years. Boss said no on account of my gross income. I need you to get us the brain. There's the rub.
I don't reckon. I work with gears and pistons and such. Stuff you can put hands to. Computers and mechan...
You know, she names the mechanicals she fixes. Calls them Bess and Clancy and so on. Go on.
Hey, Miss Parvati. Come for a visit?
Not today. Just helping this fella.
Lovely to see you.
Things going on?
Been keeping him careful. Best to ask.
My dad's buried here. Silas watches over him when I get... Oh.
Something I...
on it. Nice one!
What's that noise?
Can't get past that armor! That's the last of them. Let's go! Nice one! My arm! Can't get past that armor! Don't mess with us. Oh, that's Thomas.
Oh, hey there, friend. Wow, a new... Whoa, Miss Park.
Are you, are things...
Great, just great. I've been trying to keep stuff running, just like you.
Oh gosh, no,
Are you from town? I mean... Never heard it phrased in such a way before. I guess we're all trying to get our... Sorry, I just wasn't sure. Fact is, I've been, well, lying. To everybody here. I'll take all the help I can get. You ever heard of the Young Spacer's Guide to Mechanical Engineering? Comes in a set of 3. If I had my hands on one of those...
Those are good. My dad kept a copy.
I know the old community center kept a copy. Should find another one back in town. If you could find me... Would you?
You hungry? We got something fresh off the limb.
I told Thomas to holler if he saw anyone sneaking in. I don't know you. Whatever you're looking for. Answers, huh? Yeah, that's us. And you can tell Tom if you're gonna start wandering around my... Over. Enough with the... Explains why you're still... No, I'm... It's not like... Can't imagine...
Yeah, huh? He's just interested in fixing stuff. He always used to fall. He never told me a word to that effect. And since he didn't, I didn't have to say nothing about being... If he wants to learn about engineering, we should help him get those data pads.
Something I can help you with? You mean Zoe? Zoe and I... You sound like... Zoe was always... Shame she... The other day I got my hand... Can't say I... She called it...
I don't know anybody who ever came out this far.
Easy. Can't get past that armor! Everyone all right?
Wow. What? You? What? I doubt that. Yeah, I'll take my...
Here we go.
You're gonna suffer!
That's the last of them. Here we go. Don't mess with us.
Clever.
I'll be quick. You got him!
Any progress on... Wonderful. What the fuck is that? It's a law-forsaken joke is what it is. French! Ha! I was so high and mighty, preaching to the yokel. Well, yes. I've spent my life searching for the keys to unlocking the secrets of the universal equation that underlies the plan. I had hoped this book held some of those answers. I became so desperate, I even got myself assigned to this plague-ridden back... Please. As if my life should have no greater meaning than Nothing could be more excruciating than discussing the true nature of reality with people who have no... But that's neither... You have a... Certainly. I'm pretty... Oh. Well, understanding computers is, though I admit I took it further than most. And I was quite the 32nd back during my seminary days. Of course, I'm a vicar who is dedicated to his... But instead... Most laypeople and... I had an... And that's... Fantastic.
Edgewater.
Thank... I shall...
Where are we headed?
You think corporate's ever gonna visit?
Had your rations yet?
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
I've never actually been in here. Seemed scary from the outside. Yeah, huh?
Something to report? We pay by the finger. What do you have for me? Gil Antrim. Real name, Guillaume. Duly processed by a freelancer on behalf of Spacer's Choice. I remember him. He was just a kid last I saw him. Shame. I'll just need your signature here. Mabel Burgess. Age 37. Right or left? I remember Doc Burgess. Conducted my physical every fiscal quarter. Guess she couldn't keep her hand. Still one outstanding bounty. Here we are, Bertie Cotton. Bert was the local preacher before Max took over. Always was quick to remind us that we all get what we deserve. Well, that's all three. I must remember to requisition some more fingerprint ink. Here's all the compensation you've earned. You've done such a bang-up job hunting down our former workers that I thought it only proper to deputize. Let me stop you there. It is official Spacer's Choice policy that all Marauders, regardless of prior affiliation... Marauders are folk who lost the will to keep working, wandered out into the wild. Not everyone's cut out to work in Edgewater. Some turn deserter, some turn marauder. None of them kept... Everybody likes Adrenatime. It is the finest medical drug ever developed by Spacer's Choice. Much better than that Sure, a little too much Adrenatime can bring out the violent animal in you, but if overdosing on Adrenatime turns you into a lunatic... Says so right on the warning label. Violent psychosis is a well-documented and legally accounted for side effect of What's I... As long as you're...
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
Just the way it goes, I suppose.
This is where the magic happens. Well, science. But it still happens here. Yeah, huh?
done.
Wish we had some better rations.
I've got some time. Thanks. Here, something for your trouble. You do have some cheek on you. Somebody deserving. Oh, I'm an action. Technically.
Another day at the cannery.
Don't go knocking your work.
I'm not allowed in here. Not since the vending machine incident. Yeah. You mean why I'm not... There was a kind of a thing with a vending... Sure, but folks got... I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be... So I did my thing, and next thing I know, there's... It's not funny. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh... And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a third shift to... Anyhow, you ever seen an auto loader run over a bottle? Exploded. All... I was just shy of working age, so Dad had to pay all the damages. I can laugh about it now, but I just about puked up my guts in terror in the moment. That's the one time.
Miss Holcomb ain't allowed in this establishment. I realize that. Company still has not sent us the necessary parts to conduct repairs. And so no thanks to Miss Holcomb, yonder vending...
I won't touch anything while we're in here, Mr.
Music to my ears.
I've been feeling pretty low these.
What is it? We didn't always get along. Zoe joined up with a band of... You pretty much... Let me know if...
Zoe says she... Fresh off the limb.
Any luck finding one of those manuals? No kidding. Look at that. Building a computing machine. I appreciate. In fact, I put aside something special. Sure. What's up? Couple months. This camp's my home. People you see milling about, I owe them my life. Would have died in the wilderness if they hadn't. We all left the cannery for one reason or another. Me? I mean, I was incompetent. I couldn't even survive on my own. Grace found me, Adelaide took me.
You weren't incompetent. You just didn't fit the cannery. Not like here.
You could stay, you know. Here. I'd...
If you're hungry, there's meat. Whatever you're... I have...
Excuse me, Miss...
Why, thank you. Are you staying long? You should... Reed Thompson. Let's hear it. Make amends. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. He would do such a thing. The question is... Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip them out of the canneries. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that. A hero to the people who matter. To us. Reed will never understand. He has been too long inebriated on the wine. Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down. Workers... You bring power to Reed's town and you'll be killed. You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers, labor... You know that's true, don't you?
He was tired.
Look what they...
I'm all right.
That was It's not much of a living. Every single person in that town has sold themselves to Spacer's Choice. The company, all anyone ever... So... I trust you.
Yeah, huh? Where are we headed? wanted to poke around in here. Something you...
Sweeping.
Here they come! Can't get past that over! Everyone all right?
Unexpected.
Unexpected. Okay, here we go!
control room should be off to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing.
Halt. Here we go! We did it!
Gosh, that's clever. Where are we headed? 3 switches. That'll be easy enough. Here we go! Don't mess with us. What'll happen to Miss McDevitt's folk if we send power to the Veil?
Self-diagnostics complete. Navigation it's not the best choice. All systems fully operational. Return journey successful. Hostile actions towards Spacer's Choice mechanics are contrary in compliance with Spacer's Choice policy. All defective. Affirmative. Mechanicide protocol.
Yeah, huh?
not real. You're not real.
Mechanicide protocols currently active. Please do not interrupt.
Go away, Phantom! No, just leave me alone! Go away, Phantom! You're not real. You're not real. Go away, Phantom! No, just leave me alone! You're not real. You're not real. No, just leave me alone! You're not real. You're not real. You can talk? The Phantom's... See, Higgins? This is why you must always... Of course. Do excuse me. I experience brief flashes of mania during which I am Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely... Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna critic, Aetherwave personality, chairman of the board. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer. I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries, repaired them, maintained. Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will... You know, you remind me of myself back when I was in it. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their... Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Funny thing, I was working on a logic module just before the mayhem started. Security Chief... Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more unconventional means of filling my insides. Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything that moved. It was pandemonium. You mean, why did the mechanicals go on a murderous rampage? Same reason any of us do, I suppose. I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. Jimmy'd open... Braised. Boiled. Charred. Skewered. Sprats are good. Mechanicals lost... I was on...
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded. Here we go! Nice one! That's the last of them! For me.
Where'd you go? If we send the power to Miss McDevitt, what happens to the Veil? Where are we headed? Everyone all right? Last. I'm not sure what the right is. All I know is the decision's final. Once we do this, there's no going back. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Well, that sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us, in Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow she's talked the... It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the... Sorry, I didn't mean to babble. Really? I mean...
Oh. Nearby bottleneck.
Everyone all right?
Everybody keeps staring at me. No kid. The Geo 2 whole.
That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, this is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my... I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not see me lose. You want my flock wasting their lives? Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing left to do is go back to... Can you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater? My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started, we had a store of medicine locked away. But Reed refused to treat him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings. You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twisted reparation for what you've... Kill Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. Tell Reed that I can make his people healthy again. I can end their plague. Start a new garden right in the... Tell him how I've made the Vale bloom again. The soil has whispered its secrets. The secret is human corpses. I've been grinding them up in my fertilizer for years. Marauder, work. Edgewater Cemetery's got corpses aplenty. What do you think you're doing?
Any luck finding one of those manuals? I've been thinking about going back. I get sick thinking about working at the cannery. You know something? I think you're right. The town could use another engineer. I could do a lot of good in Edgewater. Maybe even keep a garage of my own with a little work. It's just... Adelaide's never gonna forgive me. Not... Adelaide hates Edgewater, hates everything Edgewater stands for, hates what that... We're the nearest chief. You know where to find...
I don't know what you did to talk some sense into... The matters, Zoe came back, but I couldn't keep her from slipping out in the... I don't see us lasting more than a couple of weeks out here. Listen, we go back to Reed, hat in hand, begging for our old jobs back. Sure.
Look at that.
I think you did the rightest thing you could sending the power back to Edgewater. A lot of people would have suffered.
This is a fine day, friend. Power flows through our town like a cool stream of water. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. So, when can I expect them back at their posts? Then we are at an impasse. Stewardship over this... I am not perfect. I have made my share of... I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice man. Edgewater may not look... Unless you can demonstrate to me that we are helpless without her. I don't believe you. You are disparaging our parent. We are a Spacer's... Processed, liquefied, retextured salt tuna rendered in a chemical bath, of course. Well, mostly. We've added wood chips, some mushrooms, bit of sand. Health is a state of mind, friend. Now listen, I do... You'll excuse me for being skeptical. If Adelaide's found a way to feed her people and cure the plague, then my life here is ended. Give me a little time to settle my affairs. A couple months ago, I might have put in for a transfer. It's a big colony. Spacer's Choice has other towns. Now, no such thing as an honorable resignation. Suppose I could find... I don't know. I have always tried to do right by my town.
Something you need?
Look at that. I never thought I'd see the day that Reed Suppose it's time our flock made our way back to Edgewater. You're vexing to me, you know? Injuring us with one hand, helping us with the other. Here. This don't put us on even footing, you understand? I might turn that old cannery into a garden. Got ourselves... I need some time to gather my personals. Long walk back to...
That was a good thing you did, Captain. Helping to bring the deserters and Edgewater folks. Is this your ship? Oh, my stars, Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was an I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but... Oh, it's kind of you to say that. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But... can I come with you? And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back... Yeah, Edgewater was on the verge of collapse before you showed up. You sent them power, and you talked Miss McDevitt into coming back to town. Maybe one day, you ain't exactly a stranger anymore. Yeah, my whole life's been small. I realized that when you walked into town. Then I saw this ship. This gorgeous, stately lady with her eyes turned skyward. Yes! Captain, I can call you...
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Captain, I have detected that Edgewater's power supply is now optimal. I applaud your willingness to invest your time in the local community. What can I do for you, Captain? Do you know how to install a power regulator? Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you. Across the cargo bay, up the ladders.
Yeah, huh?
What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the Unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities. We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the Unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you. Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Kilkelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay. Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost complete. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures, more than capable. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of it. Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her. Criminals? Goodness, no. Smuggling is a perfectly legitimate business venture. If misappropriating board property, plenty of ways to make money in Halcyon, you know. Not all are above board. Oh, above board. Laughter. Good. Wasn't sure you'd be able to, after so long frozen. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're... By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful. Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The Shroud changes the... It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Very simply, the Holographic Shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path, you can maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to... A change of clothes. What is this? Some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard would... The Holographic Shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. Science, that... Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions... And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with... The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run the...
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, you might want to consider changing your clothes more often. Make yourself at home, Captain.
As always, anything. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a vital... that's what my parents... I grew up in a pit of a town, much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My parents, ironically. They internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith, a faith that brought... I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a vicar, I could find... They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue the clergy for power. The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained within it. Our paths have variance, but we'll end up adhering to it. Well, some choices make the path smoother, some rougher. You can even go outside the lines. It's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so far before it snaps back. I have run headlong into too many walls in my pursuit of the truth. This book is my last hope, and I honestly don't know what I'd do. This quest... What about you? And how did he do that? Well, you do seem different than every other colonist. That seems a dangerous proposition. Why? Oh, I see. Bakonu, the author, had some interesting theories about man's perception of reality that I thought could be applied to... Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the Philosophist school of thought, so the book is... Philosophism's a false religion that stands in contradiction to almost everything we know to be true. They believe all is chaos, but most of the Philosophist perversion of Bakonu's thoughts came more than a century after. I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous Philosophist scholar who fled Terra 2 some years. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book... That's a good question. We should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place. All I need... I'll comb the last 6 months of... Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills. I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played prison yard tossball and taught myself a... Thank you. By Verity, what a...
Captain, are you expertly versed in the internal workings of a spacefaring ship? If not, I must request you please.
Sometimes I wonder about Mr. Hawthorne. What was he like? Why'd he make the computer a talkie? Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all my life. Mr. Tubbs. Except for my schooling years, I was always beside him. Or tied to him. When I got older, he set me to sorting tools and parts while he worked. Later, he taught me simple fixes. Not on the regular. Once in a great long while, a Saltuna boat would break down on the pad. He'd always bring me up. Mostly, he did the same as me. Kept Bess, the cannery, running. Turned loaders, plumbing and electricity, some plastering. I'm not exactly a model employee. Not like you wanted. The kind that stays quiet and gets the right work done. It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. That decides your schooling. When I tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my dad. Because they were hoping their own kid would get the job and get sent back to Edgewater. When folk go away for schooling, they don't get back to where they begun. Not usually. You go straight to your first job, wherever the company's got an opening. I reckon you could say, no thanks, I don't want a job. But then you don't got a job. They're powerful good tests. They rattled off this whole list of names who'd worked on them, with fancy bits hanging off them. Doctor. Even if you don't believe they actually catch what everybody's best at, everybody's got to take them. So at least... Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing such, just... There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow, and I've... Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. Oh, there were a whole lot of reading, and not nearly enough doing. Like, before they'd issue you a wrench, they wanted an essay. Then there'd be quizzes on company regulations for store. As soon as I got permission, I spent all my time in the machine shop. They had all manner of parts, but they didn't want me using them, so... I even slept in there. Had a hammock tied up in the rafters. Before I left, I installed a little skylight. Students bunk 4 to a room. It's supposed to get you used to working as a team. When my roommates tried to talk, I'd get so nervous I'd be drenched in sweat. It was easier for everybody when I stayed off them. Yep, nothing much had changed. Everything was a little grayer, a little dirtier. Dad met me at the... I noticed straight away that he was moving slower. And stiff. About a year. I tried to do more of the work, so he could rest. Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of him showing it. How he'd stay up late to help with my Oh, gosh.